Hey everybody, and welcome back to Schoolwork in Progress. I'm Emily, homeschool mama of two, and today we are all about planning. Before we get to this, I want to talk about a little more of the big picture planning that I have to start with before I get here. If you've seen my other videos, the curriculum choices videos for this year, there are a lot of pieces to fit together. So in order to wrap my head around it, because looking at stacks of books and lists on all of the different Post-its around my table was overwhelming. I listed out everything for each kiddo in each subject. I've got math, writing, reading and spelling, vocabulary, grammar, reading comprehension. I'm not sure why I made that a whole separate thing. Probably because I had a book I wanted to use for it. History, geography, science, music, art, and health. So I listed everything here just to get an idea of what all we had and what I wanted to use. I noted specific levels of everything. I noted here that this was an 18-week plan, and then we'll be moving on to this once he has finished that level. And then I put an FS after each one that we do family style as a group together. So once I had all of this listed, it felt like my brain was a little bit calmer. But looking at it, I thought, how in the world are we going to get all of this in? So I made a loose daily schedule routine. We are not schedule people when it comes to do this at this time. That's not how we like to roll. But I wanted an idea just to see how it would all fit together. And if it didn't fit together, were there things that we had to take out? Once I looked at it this way, would there be any major holes and things that we needed to add in? And this is actually still going to change quite a bit, because this co-op that I have listed here on Friday, it's a new group for us, and we didn't get in. So we're on a wait list, and I'm not sure if we will end up getting in at all this session or maybe later in the year. So this can change for now, but I want to leave it open for us to join when they have a space for us. This co-op is a smaller friend group, and we've been getting together weekly for a couple of years now. Anyway, this group we're still unsure of the actual day. Is it going to be Monday? Is it going to move back to Fridays? So a lot of that is still in flux. I did also add a Saturday here because this rock and roll curriculum we want to do with my husband too. Going to also be super fun for us. And this is something that he likes and enjoys, so we wanted to include him with that. And it's only written as 19 lessons, so we can have some flexibility and not have to do it every week in order to stay on a schedule. So we do have some things that might move. These two things might move, but the one thing that I have definitely figured out here is that we can have 3 full days, and I will feel good about what we're doing. Each of my kids, I do have one for each of them. They're basically the same. We are going to start our days with our family group subjects, because I noticed last year I would have them do their independent things first and then save these for the afternoon. But by then I was kind of faltering. It just wasn't working out well. So I'm hoping that by starting with those group subjects, that after that they can work on their own individual things. I think that might be a better fit for us. So the only differences between theirs, of course, in the mornings, everything is the same because they're together. I have math followed by EIW, his essentials in writing. For my daughter, I did flip that because, well, practical reasons. For EIW, they often need to watch a video lesson, and they need the computer to do that. And at the moment, we really only have one. So they will have to take turns with that. And then usually this they can do on their own, whereas math, sometimes they'll need me to help if it's a new concept that they're starting. So that way I can help one, and then I can help the other kiddo after that. The same with word a day and loops. For my daughter, I have that flipped, because the word a day we will look at together, and the loops I anticipate, once they get used to how things go, I anticipate that being fairly independent. But again, this is subject to change at any time. But this let me know that we can do everything we want if we have 3 full days, and we'll adjust as needed. I will update you if and when that happens. Not if, when that happens. In moving from this list to a specific schedule, the first thing I thought about was, what things do I want to be daily? What do I want to happen a couple of times a week? And what can be more spread out? So math is something that I want them to work on daily. So that made it on the list every day. Then I split up some of the other language arts pieces. So we'll do some Michael Clay Thompson something every day. These two will only take a few minutes. The practice island, that's just analyzing a sentence or two. So that's super quick. Essentials, I wanted to hit that twice a week. Our health books, we only really need to spend 1 day on them. History will need 2 days. Art, I have formally scheduled in 1 day to make sure we get our Glitter Bombers projects in, but that is also something that is more casually involved in our lives a lot. So I scheduled in 1 day, knowing that if we have time, we can just pull up one of the video lessons from this curriculum and do it just because on a particular afternoon or something. Word a day will only be done on those full days. They're loops. Those are the things that don't need to happen regularly. For their loops, I actually borrowed an idea from Cassie at Regular Secular Mama. She talked about loop jars, and I did actually choose jars because that's what I had. So I took, there are, I think, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6. So they will hit them about every other week if they do their loops 3 days a week. I chose all of those workbooks that I wanted them to do, but I don't need them to do all the time. So my daughter's spelling skill sharpeners, the paragraph editing, these critical thinking and reading comprehension books, their geography books, and I believe handwriting. Those things will all be looped. And I liked Cassie's idea of the jar because it gives them a little bit of flexibility. So they have to do a loop 3 days a week. They can choose anything that's in the jar. And once they do this thing, it goes in another jar that says it's done. And they have to complete all of this before they move them back and start from the beginning. But if my son pulls out this, if it's full, and he pulls this out and he thinks, ugh, I really don't want to do cursive today, he really can choose from any of these. I do not care. Now, of course, once you get down to the end, if you save all of your least favorites for the end, then you're stuck with them. But a little bit of flexibility can be fun. So those are our loop jars for this section. I think it'll all fit okay. I don't think we have to take anything out. I don't think we have too much to handle, but that might also change once we're actually doing it. So everything listed out so I could feel like I had my brain put together, seeing how it would fit on a sample week and an order only because it matters to me when I have to be involved for these things, and then if I have to help them with any of these, so I don't have both of them coming to me at the same time. Once I had a list of everything we wanted to include, it was time to pull out our beautiful Schoolnest planner. I know there are lots of flip throughs on YouTube. People have shown all of the amazing ways they use them. I have watched so many of them myself, but in case you are looking for another, here she is. She's beautiful. This is the minimalist notebook. That just means it does not have daily pages. It has monthly, it has weekly, it does not have daily. I know a lot of people have taken off the binding to put it on a spiral. I do love the idea of having it on a spiral, but this looks so pretty. I couldn't get rid of it. So you'll see I did add a few tabs. I couldn't find any actual tabs that I liked yet. So these are just folded Post-it notes because I'm classy like that. So I'll see if I can find something. I don't need every month marked, but there were certain things I wanted to be able to get to quickly, partly because otherwise I would forget about them. So let's get started. I haven't done anything here, although I might color it because I am like a small child and I like to color. So there's that. On this first blank page, I decided to include our homeschool mission statement. This is something that you absolutely do not need to have. But when my husband and I were first considering homeschool, my oldest was, I think only 2. We were thinking about it very early. And we did join a co-op the fall. His birthday is in October. So we joined a co-op just before he turned 3. One of the things I decided to do was to think through what our mission statement would be. It kind of helped us as we talked about what was important to us. It was a good conversation starter for my husband and I. And I have read through this every year and I have felt no need to change it. So this is still the same one that I originally put together. We, if you're wondering how I came up with it, first I made a list of all the things that were important to me. I asked him what were the things that were important to him, things that from both lists definitely made it in, and then the others we were able to talk about a little bit more. And it's just great. It's a great idea. And it's lovely to have as a reminder when you are having a rough day and you are threatening to send everyone to public school. Because yes, I've had those too. All right, the next 2 pages are also blank. And I stole this from a friend of mine. Sam, I'm talking about you. She created on just, I think it was on the first page. So she only has a 1-page spread on hers. But I need 2. So I wanted all of the reminders that you need on the hard days. Here, I jotted down a few that I didn't want to forget to add. Say yes, play the games. Oh, I hate being that mom who's always like, no, I don't have time. No, I don't have time. But I say that way too much. So I want a reminder in here that it's okay to just stop and play the game. To choose fun, learn and grow together. It's okay to make mistakes and say you're sorry. So those are things that I'm going to kind of doodle on here. I started with these big ones because those are the things I need to remind myself of the most. Up next is the calendar page. I decided to just use it as a calendar page. I I got a set of washi and some month stickers that I believe was on Ode to a Bode that I saw. These were the washies and the stickers that she used, and I bought them because I liked them. And it came with some super skinny ones in the set, and I used the ones I liked for here. And I marked our first day and then days off. I only marked so far with my highlighter the days I know for sure are off. So we have a couple of birthdays. These are the days before my birthday. I am going to be 40 this year, and yes, I am taking myself to a hotel for 3 nights alone. I'll have friends come and visit and have dinner, but these days, no school. And what else? Of course, the week of Christmas, birthday, that's it. There are other days that I circled with a pencil, like I don't think we'll do school this week before, and maybe this will make into our midwinter break. So I circled those with pencil, and then when we actually take them off, I will highlight them. Field trips, again, I marked them with the same washies because I think they're gorgeous. And we will write in any field trips we do after the fact. I want this to be a record of what we have done, not just ideas. I know people can use them either way or both ways. I want it to be a record of what we've done after the fact. In my state, we do need to keep records of things like attendance. I've never actually kept this close of track before though, and no one's ever asked for a record. But honestly, I think this will be really pretty if I color it in with rainbow colors. So I'm keeping it. I marked off the weekends, and this is one of my tabs because I think if I have a tab, it'll remind me to come in here and mark the days. We're up north where we start after Labor Day. So we are September starters. I have no idea what I will do here. Maybe some sort of dashboard with Post-its if there are things I need to buy, and then I can get rid of it and toss it and stick a new one on here. Maybe. Yet to be determined. We don't really have any outside classes that we're doing as of yet. We do some library meetups and we will do some co-op things, but not enough for me to use this. So maybe this will be my dashboard because it has spaces. I don't know. But this I haven't used yet, and I didn't need this many curriculum boxes, so this I left for me to think about. But I did write out our curriculum overview here. These are all the things we're using together: ELA, US History, Science, Music, Art and Health, 2 extra spaces, maybe for future planning or ideas. And then a page for my son and a page for my daughter about all of the specifics that we're using. So I listed all of their loops. I also chose, you guys, let's talk pens for a second. Let me grab one. All right, I love these Energel, the Pentel Energel pens. I don't like super fine point, scratchy feeling pens. So this just feels smooth and delicious when I write with it. I realize that's a strange adjective to use, but here we are. I love this pen. But because it is such a thick gel tip, it does some serious ghosting with a touch of bleed through in spots. So I didn't want to use this for everything. I tried with that 20% off Target coupon for teachers, greatest idea ever, Target, that I would try the friction pens. Because this might be a really silly concern, because I want this to be more of a memory book, yearbook by the time I'm done, maybe even with some journaling, I was afraid that because these are erasable that over time it might fade a little bit. But then I wrote with them and I erased them and I fell in love with them, and I've decided I don't care what happens long term. I want to use these pens. So I started here using my color coding. I have decided, because of the Schoolnest notebooks that my kids picked, these probably aren't showing up correctly. This more dark pink magenta is for my daughter. That's the Schoolnest grade level notebook she picked too. My son picked a very, very dark blue, but I just went with a blue pen for him. And then the things we're doing together are in purple. And a miscellaneous one I stole from the set. The rest my daughter can use for class, for her schoolwork. So our together things, you probably can't tell with my poor lighting. These are written in purple. My son's stuff is written in blue, and my daughter's in that magenta pink. So I'm gonna hopefully keep using that color coding throughout. Up next are our book lists. I decided these 2 pages would be for my son. I love the idea of using the covers. We'll see if I actually do it, but I'm only gonna put books that he's actually read, not things that I'm just thinking about. I might stick a Post-it in here with the list for him. I wanna do some assigned reading this year for the first time ever. I've never done that, but I think this might be the year to try. He's going to be in 6th grade, and sometimes you just have to suck it up and read what mom wants you to. Otherwise, all of his reading has been entirely on his own, and he loves it. 2 pages for my daughter, and then the final 2 for read alouds, things we do together. Here you can see some bleed through. This is from these. Have the more of a marker felt tip, and I've always liked these for planners before, but this paper is a little bit thinner and these will bleed through. So I only use them for the curriculum progress, and I won't be using them for the rest of it. All right, here's my second tab, because again, I want to remind myself to come in here and update this. I love tracking curriculum this way. It feels like less pressure than trying to plan out the whole year, because we all know that that will change. If this is something we want to complete in the whole year, we're halfway through, we're about halfway through our curriculum. Great, things are on track. If we're a little behind, I might want to start making this particular thing more of a priority. So this helps me stay on track, and coloring things in makes me happy. So again, I started with my eldest, and for math, he's finishing up this book, moving on to this book, and I think we'll be able to even start this one. Not everything has a 180-day lesson kind of layout. So I noted here what each box meant. So Math Mammoth doesn't list lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, but it has topics listed in the contents. So for each topic that he finishes, which might be 1 page, it might be 2 or 3 pages before that topic is complete, we color a box. And that's the end of the first book. Then the second book ends here, and this third book he probably won't finish, but so I just put that to the end. So I don't have enough spaces to track every single thing they're working on, so I picked the ones that I kind of wanted to keep track of the most. So for example, cursive is not on here. I do not care if they complete the cursive book in a specific amount of time, but as long as he is working on it and making progress, that's all I care about. So I put on here the ones that I thought I might like a better visual idea of how far along we are. So there's a 2-page spread for my oldest, a 2-page spread for my daughter, done the same way. And then there is 1 more spread in this book that is for our group together curriculum. So our essentials, history, science mom, Michael Clay Thompson, our art of rock and roll, and health. How am I going to do these? I'm not sure, because there are multiple books we're working through here. There's only 19 lessons here, so one box per lesson is one sad little row, and I don't like that. And health, we're also doing a number of books. So I have to sit down and figure out how I'm going to fit those in here, but that's a tomorrow problem, not today. All right, then we have this month. I don't want every month marked. I did put washi on the sides, you guys. I think it's so pretty. I couldn't help myself. But I only did it for the months, not for the weekly ones. So I'm keeping some actual information covered here, if you're wondering. I don't need all of them marked. If I need to schedule something for December, I can manage to flip to December and get there. But I just want to know quickly, this is the current month we're on. Obviously, September is not the current month that we're on, but it is our first month of school. So this is the one that we're in right now. And here's a tab for me to get there, and I'll move that as we progress through the year. So here, I use some pretty stickers. I love these ombre stickers. I will use this not so much for lesson planning in any way, but the big stuff. If we have co-op that day, if we have a dentist appointment, all of the things that have times and appointments and big reminders. I love a calendar view to see that. The month in review page. I am not sure what I'm going to do here, because when you get to the individual weeks, so again, this is something I'll move so I can quickly get to the week we are currently on. My thought with this, so first we have this weekly overview dot grid page, the weekly goals and notes with a checklist, and then this schedule with the days of the week. And on the next page is the more typical lesson planning looking grid layout. Here, this for sure, I want to put, again, the appointments, the play dates, the places I need to be on here so I can see that quickly at a glance. I think I might also put our meals down here. So this part makes very clear sense to me how I will use it. This is where I want to add some pictures or maybe a little journaling. So I don't know if I want that in both places or not. So this page and this page, I think, will evolve a little bit over time. I imagine this for now as pictures and a little note taking of what was going on in our week. But then what do I do here? Maybe journaling and pictures happen in a month kind of timeline, and this I use more planning. I am not sure. We will see as the year progresses. This I see as being a more thinking ahead. What do I need to do for both school and life? Because I am using one planner for all of it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So all of the months are like that. I have pretty washi that makes me happy, and the month stickers all on there ready to go. And this, I have started to set up this first week just to get a feel for it. On this grid, again, this is something that can change as I use it more and decide what works for us. But here's where I will be using these to keep track of who is who. So I went with days of the week across the top. This will be more of a plan from behind. So if there's something that happens over here, or we're doing our music over here, then I want to be able to make note of it. I did have a hard time trying to decide how to divide this up. Let me turn it so you can see. So I didn't want to do just one for ELA because there's way too much that counts as ELA for one box with 2 kids. So I decided math, and then I can use their 2 different colored pens to write what each kid did that day. Writing and vocab, loop, Michael Clay Thompson and Logic of English Essentials, history, science, art, and music. In my head, this made sense because these are their more individual subjects, and these are our group subjects. Makes sense to my brain. We'll see if it actually makes sense when in use. And if not, well, we have plenty of other weeks to switch it up. So that's the plan for now. I have one fun thing to show you that I'm excited about because I just bought it yesterday. I found at Michael's the most beautiful sticker book ever. It's DK, which I did not even realize, I think, until I got it home. There were maybe 4 or 5 different ones in the series. I chose the Botanist sticker anthology. Oh my word, it is this huge. It was pricey. It was $25, but these things are beautiful. And they're all stickers. Look at them. They are sort of organized by color. So you'll see all of the reds and oranges together, the yellows, but there's all sorts of beautiful, these are blue, which is probably not showing up properly, but they really are a deep, beautiful blue. And there's all kinds of different plant-related, plant and fungi related stickers. But I thought I would use some of these in my planner, and I want to start doing a little more memory keeping this year, separate from school. So I might use these for that too. The last piece of the planning puzzle is giving my kids their daily to-do list. Last year I did a full sheet, and it had subjects down the side, days of the week across the top, and I would write in each week what they had to do. They did a great job with their daily individual things. I maybe didn't do such a great job following through on the group subjects. I'm gesturing like you can read my mind. The top had generally their individual things, and the bottom had mainly our group subjects. But I want to try something different this year. So I typed this up, and so we have a spot for the date, we have a spot for their assignments. This is something that is currently kept track of on our fridge with a dry erase sheet. This will be the first time that I have had household and school stuff on one list, and I have a feeling that it will mean these things and these things all get done without me reminding them to check different locations. I had them each pick out a notebook, and I will put this inside. I'll trim it, and this can fit right in here. I might print them on sticker paper to make it easier. I didn't like the idea of writing everything, so I'll probably type it and print it. That felt easier to me, and I wanted to be a little bit lazy about it, especially because this is getting done every day. I thought about doing it in a planner, but I'm gonna try it this way first, and then if this goes well, then we could talk about them choosing a beautiful planner next year. But this is my thought. We'll give it a try and see how it works. And because it is just a notebook And because it's me typing out an easy list of what they, and this will be the specifics, do this page in math, read this chapter in your book, and they can go through and check them off. Because this is done daily, if we get a few weeks in and decide this isn't working, we can very easily change because the rest is just a plain notebook. So that's it for planning this year. I started with my big picture lists, went to a weekly routine so I could wrap my brain around how all the pieces would fit together. I laid things out in my Schoolnest planner and then figured out how my kids would get their assignments and maintain some level of independence, but also me knowing what's going on and managing it. So that's the current plan, and I'll let you know how it's going. Tell me, are you a paper planner? Are you a paper planner, a digital planner? Do you just fly by the seat of your pants? Do you have to record things? I want to know. So tell me in the comments down there what your situation is, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.